These are the results of the 3 games played in the NBA on Tuesday. The Thunder beat the Celtics, as Donald Trump would say, bigly. The Bucks, they beat the Wizards, and the Kings beat the Jazz. Fret not, bigly is actually a word you can find in a good dictionary. Now, Washington Wizards fans would have been optimistic that Bradley Beal would return to their starting lineup for their clash with Milwaukee Bucks at Fiserv Forum Arena. Star shooter Chris Middleton missed out for the Bucks, but Giannis stepped up to complete a one-man demolition job, registering a double-double, 10 rebounds to accompany a career-high 55 points as the Bucks went on to beat the Wizards 123-113.
The Washington Wizards playing good ball right now, and they get Bradley Beal back into the lineup. He's been dealing with a hamstring issue, taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. No Chris Middleton, he's still out, but plenty of Giannis early over Kristaps Porzingis for the jam. Giannis on his way to a huge night, but at the other end, Porzingis gets his revenge over Giannis for the jam. The pick, the roll, and the throwdown. It's Beal with the ball. Tries to leave it for Porzingis, instead turns it over. A gift and a windmill for the Greek Freak. Beal getting comfortable. Drives, turns, scores. He played 13 minutes but would not play in the second half due to hamstring tightness. Porzingis open for 3. Got it. He had 22 points, 9 rebounds. We're tied at 46. How about the Greek Freak? The spin, and then the reverse with the left hand. He's not done. Oh, pump fake. Porzingis falls for it. Giannis ducks 3, had 24 in the first half, 61-49, Bucks by 12 at the break. Here he comes, Giannis. Oh, the no-look to Bobby Portis. A solid double-double from Portis, 17 points, 13 rebounds. The Bucks lead is still 12. Inside, Giannis just powers his way in, 82-75. Loose ball, who wants it? Eventually, it's Daniel Gafford who throws it down, and the Wizards are back within 7. Then Kyle Kuzma drives for 2 of his 20. It's a 4-point game, 95-91. Giannis goes baseline. Oh, flies in. The pump, reverse, good. Bucks by 10. Giannis sets a career high with 55 points. There's 2 more and the foul. He added 10 rebounds and 7 assists and carries the Bucks to the 123-113 win.
The Greek Freak speaks perfect English.
Just try to be aggressive, try to make good plays, good decisions. Started the game kind of, hadn't played in 4 days. They had the chance to, practice because the team was playing. I was kind of rusty, kind of throwing the ball over. But at the end of the day, as the game was going on, I was, getting my rhythm. Going downhill, getting the paint, getting to my spots, and just trying to create as much as possible for myself and for my teammates. I compete with myself. Every other night is going to be another player, but I just try to be consistent. At the end of the day, there's players that have come to the league and they've been great, and every given night there's going to be somebody that's going to be great. But guys like LeBron have been great since 2003. It's 2023, and I want to be one of those guys. I don't want to be one of those guys that big it one night and the other night you don't hear about him for the next 2-3 months. I want to be one of those guys that every single night that I bring it.
Yep, so this is what Giannis has done in terms of career highs where scoring is concerned. Dropped 45 on the Bulls earlier this year. Late last year, December 28, just after Christmas. Then he has 3 scores of 47, 148, 49, 2 scores of 50, 52 against the 76ers, his previous career high eclipsed. by that 55 against Washington Wizards on January 3. Lance, the man says LeBron James has been great for 20 years since 2003 when he exploded onto the scene as a high school, well, straight out of high school in the headband. And that's the thing he's chasing. I like when my superstars talk that way. I hate when my superstars say they have nothing to prove and they don't pay attention to other people and they're just focusing on themselves, even though he says he's focusing on himself. But he knows the standard that he ought to be aiming for and ought to be achieving in order to be referred to as an all-time great.
Yeah, George, I had lost interest in the segment when you mentioned George Bush's, Donald Trump's name earlier on. So,
interest restored?
Let me just say that. But I guess Giannis has resuscitated my interest in this basketball segment. Top of his game at the moment.
Yes.
Very, very outstanding player, two-time MVP. And I think he's on a wave of outstanding performances. I think he has had 3 consecutive games now of 40 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists, which has only been achieved 3 games in a row by 3 other players, Elgin Baylor, Wilt Chamberlain, and Russell Westbrook, your favorite player. So in the past week, he's on the crest of a wave. And we have known for several seasons how good this player is.
Yes.
And he's still young, and he just has a lot to offer.
Yes. You know, when you look at a man like Giannis, you get another perspective on the American obsession with the GOAT debate, and an obsession that it's almost like a virus that has infected the rest of the world. So everybody talks about GOAT now. But here's where I'm going with this. LeBron James has been excellent for 20 years, has been great for much of that time. Giannis has been very good since he came into the NBA, was great in the season that they won the league, and perhaps was great another season or 2. The reason people talk about GOAT is that those who designate someone the GOAT want you to have that GOAT as your favorite player. So you should rate that player and regard that player above everyone else. And I'm saying, no, but you have some people who don't like LeBron James. They love Giannis, and they think Giannis is a better player. They think Giannis has better tools. I mean, you could talk about, okay, objectively speaking. Well, there's no such thing as objectivity beyond what numbers show, because there's no opinion that is objective. It can't be, because it's coming from an individual. If it were coming from a machine, even then it wouldn't be objective, because it's subjective to the machine. So there's no such thing as objectivity. But I'm saying the GOAT argument is almost as if people who say Michael Jordan, they want to force down your gullet that Jordan is a player you should regard as the one you want to see all the time under all circumstances. And some people prefer LeBron, some people prefer Giannis. So that's why, again, for me, the futility of the argument, because Giannis is so wonderful. He can do things that no player in the NBA right now at this point can do. What do you do with that? Do you sideline that? Do you try to water that down to promote someone else? Why not just lionize Giannis Antetokounmpo for what he is and what he's doing?
Yeah. Well, you know, George, I heard yourself and Simon Evans taking a knock at the Americans and this GOAT issue when we were talking about football last week. And I want to challenge that a bit, because globally, people admire, glorify the Americans on how well they do PR for whatever product or whatever project that they're involved in. And I just think that if we are accepting that the Americans are really good at this, then why are we criticizing them for doing it? Because it is part of the reason why their events have gone global. The way Caribbean people are now drawn to the NFL, far more the NBA, is mind-boggling for me. You know, if I compare that to when I started in journalism in 1984. And it boils down to how the Americans sell their sport. And I think there's something positive to say about that.
No, nobody was saying that the Americans aren't brilliant and peerless in doing marketing and PR. Nobody's saying that. And I would say to you that if you use 1984 as your base point, cable TV wasn't around in 1984 to the extent that it is now. You had people with satellite dishes. That's different from cable TV. I remember when...
Well, you had to have money to have a satellite dish.
And here you go. Carvel Stewart in Harborview, the chairman of Harborview Football Club. Carvel Stewart's house in Harborview was where many of our respected coaches and administrators and former players went on a Sunday to watch Italian Serie A, to see Diego Maradona for Napoli, and to see the rest of the world in sport in Jamaica.
Yes.
The fact now that everybody has cable TV, so the NBA has grown exponentially in interest and has won more fans because of the proliferation of it.
Yes.
The NFL the same way. So I'm saying the Americans have been masters at marketing for a long time. Talk about making your sport global. They recognized David Stern, the late former NFL commissioner, took the NBA to Japan in the 1990s.
Yes.
Yeah, and built it up around the Dream Team and Michael Jordan. So the point I'm making is the shot we took at the GOAT debate was that everything revolved around who was greater than who. And so you have a lot of people who fail to acknowledge the merits and the qualities of other players because one player has to be elevated above them to make the GOAT. And I'm saying that is perfect when the NFL was not globally popular as it is today. When the NBA was not as globally popular and you wanted to attract people to watch it because people want to watch greatness. So if you tell someone that someone is the greatest in a particular field, that's a launch pad for them to show even cursory interest in the sport and for that cursory interest to turn into fandom. I'm saying that football doesn't need that because the first FIFA World Cup was played before the NFL was a thing, before the man who invented the NFL was
George,
more.
I just referenced that discussion, but you just said earlier about the GOAT discussion in the NBA being a method being used by the people pushing the argument to try to get you to think that. So I'm saying the same thing with this NBA discussion, that I think it is just part of how they market and want to generate provocative discussion to get interest in their sport.
I think it has gone beyond that, Lance. I think there was a time when the discussions around the NBA, the TV presenter, the studios said to their presenters, do it this way to attract fans and everything. I think that point is past. Saturation point has been reached. I'm saying that what you have now is lazy broadcasters and people who really ought not to be on TV or on radio. Yeah? Everything, rather than analyzing something and talking about the merits of those who are competing, the athletes, the sportsmen and sportswomen. The easiest thing to do to rack up likes or clicks is to just engage in a GOAT debate. Who better than who? And when you've run out of statistics, you come with some crazy matrices to talk about this makes him better than him. And it cheapens our job. It cheapens our work.
I know it does, George, but you have to understand that there are sports networks and sports channels that are covering sport 24 hours a day. And it's not all the time that a sporting event is going on. So they have to manufacture discussions to have talk shows and opinions being thrown at the viewers 24 hours a day outside of when there's live coverage of a sport. So it is almost understandable to me for them to be projecting this kind of discussion on their sports shows, their talk shows.
And that doesn't obviate the need for sensible...
So you're saying that these guys aren't sensible?
I'm saying that they aren't. Because do you pay attention to any GOAT debate anymore? Haven't you heard every point to be made about every athlete and every footballer? It's noise to you. So only if you're 12 or 14 and just coming to the sport, you'll pay attention. Saturation point has been reached.
Yeah, but we are not normal viewers, George, because we are in the business as well.
No, but they
aren't targeting us. They're targeting the viewer, average viewer.
As we go to the break, only the 12-year-old, 14-year-old, only people who are new to the sport will be enraptured by a GOAT debate. Because everybody has heard it so many times. It's just like noise now. And it's ridiculous. Viewers in Trinidad and Tobago, here's your chance to play our Take Your Shot promotion and win a trip for two to attend the 2023 All-Star Weekend in Utah. Watch the NBA live on SportsMax for a chance to scan the QR code for more information on how to participate. The promotion, which began on November 28 last year, ends January 20 this year.
Still to come on today's show, Brent Sancho will join us as we delve into the EPL title race, plus the battle for the top four. We'll also be examining a story which suggests Cristiano Ronaldo will split with his longtime super agent, Jorge Mendes. And remember, Test cricket is on Sportsmax. Day 2 of the third Test between Australia and South Africa in Sydney, starting half an hour earlier tonight at 6 o'clock. That's 7 o'clock Eastern Caribbean time on Sportsmax. And there's also T20 international cricket on Thursday, the second T20 between India and Sri Lanka, starting at 8:30 in the morning. That's 9:30 in the rest of the Caribbean.